In the fading light of a late autumn afternoon, an old man walked through the dense woods, each step heavy with memories. His worn boots crunched over fallen leaves as he followed the path that led back to the cabin where he grew up, now a place of solace and reflection. It had been years since he had been back, but the forest had remained unchanged, majestic and mysterious, with thick canopies and tangled undergrowth. He paused at the edge of a clearing, the place where he had first found his dog, a scruffy mutt with soulful eyes and a wagging tail, abandoned and shivering in the cold. The man remembered the way the dog had timidly approached him, unsure but hopeful, and how he had wrapped the small creature in his coat, offering warmth and comfort. The dog had been his constant companion through thick and thin, through the loss of his wife, the birth of his children, the harvest seasons, and the long, lonely winters. But age had taken its toll on the old dog. His once vibrant coat was now matted and graying, and his steps were slower, more careful. Yet his eyes still held that same unwavering loyalty. The man knew it was time to let go. As he sat beside the old dog on a grassy patch, a wave of emotion hit him like a physical blow. Tears welled up in his eyes, and he knew he wasn't just mourning the dog's physical decline. He was grieving the end of an era, the final chapter of a life that had once been full of promise and dreams. He stroked the dog's head gently, his fingers tracing the familiar contours of its face, memorizing every detail. In the stillness of the clearing, the man heard the faint calls of distant birds, the rustle of leaves in the wind, and the sound of the forest's heartbeat. It was as if the world was holding its breath, waiting for what was to come. The man closed his eyes and whispered words of gratitude and farewell, promising his old friend that he would never be forgotten. As the sun dipped below the horizon, casting a golden glow over the landscape, the dog took its last breath, exhaling slowly, as if releasing a lifetime of shared memories. The man closed his eyes and whispered words of gratitude and farewell, promising his old friend that he would never be forgotten. As the sun dipped below the horizon, casting a golden glow over the landscape, the dog took its last breath, exhaling slowly, as if releasing a lifetime of shared memories. The man sat there, long after the dog's body had become still, staring at the sky, letting the tears flow freely. He thought of all the good days they had spent together, the moments of pure happiness and simple contentment, and how they had navigated life's trials as a team. The cabin stood in the distance, silent and empty, a reminder of days gone by. He spent the evening sorting through old photographs, flipping through the pages of his life's story. Each image held a memory. The day they first met, the puppy's first day at home, the children growing up alongside the dog, the holidays and birthdays spent together. The fire crackled and popped, casting flickering shadows across the room. Outside, the wind howled through the trees, but inside, the warmth was comforting. The man poured himself a drink, his hands steady despite the tremors of grief. He toasted to the dog's memory, to all the moments they had shared, and to the unwavering loyalty that had defined their friendship. As the night wore on, the man's thoughts drifted to the future. He knew he couldn't stay in that cabin much longer. It was too full of ghosts, too saturated with memories that had become heavy with time. The forest, its ancient trees and whispered secrets, still held a draw. It was a place where he had found peace, where he had come to terms with life's challenges, where he had learned to let go. The next morning, as the first light of dawn broke over the forest, the man woke to find that his old friend had slipped away during the night. The body lay on a blanket by the door, a final, silent witness to a lifetime of shared experience. He buried the dog under a canopy of trees, marking the spot with a simple stone that read, "Forever loved." And as he walked away, leaving the past behind, he felt a sense of closure. The woods were still vast and mysterious, but they were no longer daunting. The man had found peace, not just with his dog's departure, but with his own place in the world. He knew he had a new journey ahead, one where memories would be cherished, but where he could also move forward, carrying the lessons his dog had taught him of loyalty, resilience, and love. As the sky darkened and the first drops of rain began to fall, the man set off through the woods, the familiar path leading him to the distant road where his truck was parked. The rain beat down harder now, soaking his clothes, but he didn't care. The cabin was behind him, a symbol of the past, and he was ready to embrace the future. The cabin was behind him, a symbol of the past, and he was ready to embrace the future. His journey wasn't over. There were new places to see, new adventures to be had. But for now, he needed to leave that chapter closed. He walked for hours, the heavy rain washing away the dust and tears from his face. The forest enveloped him, its towering trees a silent witness to his grief and determination. The man reached a small clearing, a place he and his dog used to visit during the warmer months. It was still beautiful here, with wildflowers blooming and the sweet scent of pine in the air. He sat down on a fallen log, the memories flooding back. The dog had loved this spot, running through the undergrowth, barking joyfully as if nothing else in the world mattered. As the rain eased to a drizzle, the man took off his hat and let the cool water wash over his face. The sun was making an appearance through the thinning clouds, casting a warm, golden hue over the landscape. He felt a mix of emotions, grief, nostalgia, and an unexpected surge of hope. The old dog's spirit seemed to linger in the air, a comforting presence that reminded him of the importance of living in the moment, of cherishing the simple pleasures of life.
The old dog's spirit seemed to linger in the air, a comforting presence that reminded him of the importance of living in the moment, of cherishing the simple pleasures of life. With a deep breath, the man got to his feet and started walking again, the pain of loss tempered by a growing sense of acceptance. He knew that his old friend would always be with him, in the echoes of the forest and the memories they had made together. He reached the road and spotted his truck in the distance. He climbed in, the seat still warm from the sun. He looked out at the road ahead, winding through the hills, and thought about the future. There were still places he wanted to visit, things he wanted to see. But first, he needed to let go of the past completely. The man started driving, heading toward the horizon, the rain now a distant memory. He was ready for whatever came next. As he passed a small town, he noticed a sign advertising a local festival. He hadn't thought about celebrating anything in a long time, but the thought of joining in brought a glimmer of joy to his heart. Maybe he would stop, grab a bite to eat, and talk to some strangers. Maybe he would even make a new friend. The sun was setting, casting a warm glow over the landscape. The man took a deep breath, savoring the moment. For the first time in a long time, he felt at peace. He had made his peace with the dog's death, with the cabin, with the forest, with everything. Now he was ready to move forward. As he drove into the night, the truck's headlights illuminating the road ahead, the man felt a sense of hope. The dog's spirit was with him, guiding him, reminding him of what was important. And as he looked out at the darkened woods, he knew that he was ready to embrace the future, to live fully, to honor the lessons his old friend had taught him. The road was long and uncertain, but the man was ready for the journey. The memories of the dog would always be with him, a constant reminder of the good times and the hard times they had shared. But now he was free to make new memories, to explore new horizons. The man smiled, a bittersweet expression on his face. He was sad to leave the past behind, but he was also excited about what lay ahead. As he passed a small town, he noticed a sign advertising a local festival. He hadn't thought about celebrating anything in a long time, but the thought of joining in brought a glimmer of joy to his heart. Maybe he would stop, grab a bite to eat, and talk to some strangers. Maybe he would even make a new friend. The sun was setting, casting a warm glow over the landscape. The man took a deep breath, savoring the moment. For the first time in a long time, he felt at peace.